Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Welcome to Wager Talk TV. My name is Minty, and joining me today is Drew Martin at Drew Martin Bets on Twitter and Brian Leonard at B Leonard Sports on Twitter as well. This Thanksgiving night, we've got the New Orleans Saints at Atlanta. Okay, guys, Atlanta's not winning this one, right? Am I right?
I guess you like the Saints in this one? What are you trying to say? You're putting us on the spot here.
I mean, Atlanta showed us that they were the same Atlanta that they were before the 2 wins against Carolina and New Orleans. What should we expect this week?
Actually, if you take a look at New Orleans, we know how well they've done the last few years. They're actually only 3-4 against the Falcons. They lost that game earlier this year when that defense came out of nowhere for a 2-game span.
Right.
But Atlanta's 1-5 this year when they don't win the turnover rating or turnover margin. Most teams lose 3 out of 4, something like that, when they don't win the turnover margin. So that's strange that they won that game against the Saints. Was the only game that they've actually won the turnover margin in. And they've played the Saints very well. The problem is when you take a look at turnovers for the season, one team is +8, one team is -9, I believe. It's a 17 turnover differential for the Saints, the better team here. So you got the Saints playing with a little bit of revenge from that loss earlier. You've got Atlanta, a team that turns the ball over a lot, and we've seen that out of Ryan. Ryan's either really good, he has certain years where he's like an MVP candidate, and then he has this year. So I tend to like New Orleans here. I think it's some revenge. But Atlanta's played them pretty tough here. I don't know if I'll get there with the points, but I'm with you. I think the Saints win the game. Don't know if I'll get here from a point spread standpoint.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, great points, Brian. I mean, I think Atlanta is a great case study here in terms of, you talked about it, the 2-game stretch they had defensively after their bye week. Whatever changes they made were working. Up until last week, then Tampa Bay, they just weren't anymore. Talk about, trying to get a read on the Falcons, I think, is very difficult. Before I was riding them and then took the loss. Now do you kind of jump off the train that was the Falcons' money train for that 2 games? Sports bettors out there know what I'm talking about. Or do you keep riding that, or do you just say, forget it now? And it's always a very tough situation for me. Trying to read as much as I can into this, Minty. The revenge angle. I'm not a big revenge guy, but in the case of the Saints-Falcons, I don't know, losing at home, I'm sure they're going to be gunning here for the Falcons. And the points that Brian led up here in terms of the turnovers, usually that tends to continue. The teams that turn it over a lot tend to continue turning it over. So with New Orleans, I think that their defense, and they have enough offensively. I would look to lay the number here, and it's right around 6.5 as we're talking on Wednesday. So make sure to shop around. Key number in the NFL being 6.5.
I just want to point out when it comes to the turnovers, fumbles pretty much are random. It's the interceptions that you get certain quarterbacks. I mean, take a look at New England and Tom Brady. He doesn't turn the ball over. Take a look at for Wisconsin in college football for all these years, they would run the ball down your throat, so they didn't pass a lot. So that's why they always ended up on it. So it all depends on how the teams play, but most of it comes down to, as we know in the NFL, it comes down to the starting quarterback. And if you have a quarterback that throws interceptions, it's harder to win.
Yeah, very true. Thank you, guys. Thanksgiving special. All plays are just $9 Thursday through Monday at wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. All daily packages are only $9, including any 5% best bet, normally priced at $40.